Hola, probando sonido.
Well, I have everything set up for big events, um, conferences, all kinds of stuff. Podemos empezar 5 minutos antes para que los que estén esperando en vivo
Sí,
por internet dicen, ok, sí, estoy aquí.
sí, ya, de hecho acabé de empezar el en vivo hace 30 segundos.
No, we are set
Voy a
up
mandarles aquí un mensajito.
Sí, como
for
bien.
music, for dance, for conferences.
¿Se escucha bien? Listo. Gracias, bye.
Extra chairs.
Eso, la Vani, la Vani. Pero prendas el ventilador.
Ya voy.
Ya estoy sudando. Claro.
Gracias.
Test, test, test. Am I okay? ¿Todo bien? Está...
As everybody filters in, we'll be distributing presentation materials through the WhatsApp group. This is the QR code to access that group.
We need some of you to sit in the front to participate in the hypnotism show.
This is the spit on your show right here, as we talk, we spit. Ya estamos en vivo. Y listo.
Yeah, there was the electronics of our
No, I wasn't.
Well, good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing this morning? Doing all right? Everybody hears me okay? I'm not too loud, not too soft. Everybody's good? Y'all hear me out there? All right. Let's see. We got Thomas. Where is Glenn?
Behind Donnie.
All right. Are we going to come up here, guys, as we do the presentation? What Donnie is showing you guys is we have developed a WhatsApp group that's specifically for you guys and for the people that are in attendance virtually. This is for you guys if you need to ask questions. We're going to be here for about 2 hours in this position. I'll tell you all about that, but we'll be about 2 hours here. And then you're going to have time to individually ask questions with the people after lunch. And we're providing lunch. We've got a barbecue going out there. But Donnie, as part of his presentation, is going to be providing a link for you. So make sure you get in on that WhatsApp so you can follow the link during his presentation. My name is Shane, by the way. Sorry. Watching everything that's going on. My name is Shane. I'm the director here for OSA Academy and for the OSA Foundation. You're going to have to excuse me if my brain wanders between Spanish and English. Sometimes the words come faster in Spanish and sometimes better in English. But before we get started, I wanted to, reflect on a few things or acknowledge a few things. A couple of days ago, we just had Memorial Day back in the United States, which obviously we all know is to remember the people that have fallen in service. Between Spanish and English. I don't know if you guys know the statistic. Faster in Spanish and sometimes better in English. But over the past 200, and the other thing that we're going to be thinking about here is in a couple of weeks, we're going to be celebrating our 250th anniversary. Over the past 250 years, approximately 1.2 to 1.3 million people have died in the service of our country. So I wanted to remember the people that bring up that fact, and then kind of looking a couple weeks ahead from now, we're going to be celebrating our 250-year anniversary, which is quite a milestone. We're going to be celebrating. It's a pretty big deal. But I wanted to acknowledge that years, approximately 1.2 to 1.3 million, because of the people throughout these 250 years, because of the people who have served our country, whether they've served and fell in battle, whether they served and after their service fell, the people that are currently serving our country, and the people that have served and have finished their service, and by the grace of God and His blessings for our country, served in our lost my voice. Country, whether they've served. Are you there? Test, test, test. Hello. Whether they served and anyway, because of the people, this amazing 250 years, we are the United States of America, and we have the liberties that we have, and we have the position in the world that we have. So, just want to acknowledge all of the people over the past 250 years who have served, have fallen, continue to serve, and have done their service a big thank you for all of those people. Because of, as we begin today, like I said, my name is Shane. I'm the director for the school. And give you a quick introduction to the people on board here. We got Thomas over here. Acknowledge all of the people over the past 250 years who have served, have fallen, continue to serve, and have done their service.
Just have a quick moment of silence.
A big thank you for all of those people. Because of, as we begin today, like I said, my name is Shane. I'm the director for the school. And give you a quick introduction to the people on board here. We got Thomas over here. So to get started, guys, right over here we have Thomas. He is our representative at Westminster University in Utah. Our programs go through him so that they are connected to the Veterans Administration. He's going to be talking. We got Donnie right here, who is also in charge. He's Pathfinder Benefits. He helps veterans connect with their benefits with the VA. Then we got Glenn over here, who has the Minga House Foundation in Chinchina. And he and I both do services. We're both learning sites for the veterans. So. Real quickly, we're going to do about a half hour each. Then we're going to break for lunch. After that, we're going to each of us are going to go to classrooms, and you're going to have the opportunity to go and ask individual questions. Hey, how does this apply to me? How do I get on board? And they'll take down your information, and they'll be working with you. If you're joining us online, or if you're seeing the recording, you're welcome to contact us. Not a problem. The WhatsApp link is on the screen right now. And as we cycle through the people, their personal contacts are going to be on the screen as well. So anybody participating from distance, you're welcome to see that information. So to get started, I guess we're going to be sitting over there. First person is going to be Donnie, right? Yes, sir. Donnie's going to be first, and we'll get started. Donnie, this is yours, so that they can hear you on the line.
Hey, welcome. My name is Donnie Whitten. I'm a United States Army combat veteran, 100% P&T, and I've been doing veteran services in one capacity or another for a very long time. Started out in Johnson County Community College in Overland Park, Kansas, outside of Kansas City, Missouri, as a VA school certifying official. Ran a peer mentoring program, helping veterans get into and through their education process, and then went off into the disability side and did that for a long time. And then had the blessing to meet Shane and this group here and all the hard work they do. I came in to inquire about OLSA, and Shane was like, oh, you used to be a school certifying official, huh? And so that was the start of it. I launched Pathfinder Benefits, trying to help veterans get through this process and other processes. The VRNE is an often overlooked, undertold benefit. The fact of the matter is that I think the system was deliberately designed that way. It's complex, kind of like navigating your disability benefits. However, a lot of the process goes through a single person, a voc rehab counselor who has approval or denial privileges, and they make the system very difficult. As you see here, 75,027 veterans applied to VRNE and never moved forward to a plan. That means they never got past the first meeting. I've been testing the system here again lately. It's gotten a lot worse since 2024 because the massive downsize on VA staff. The ideal counselor to veteran ratio is one counselor to 70 to max 90 veterans, and most of them are pushing 220 veterans. So I've had a number of veterans I've been helping who the counselors try to send them a denial before ever having their first meeting, which is illegal. You can't deny a veteran their benefits without a decision letter. There's a formal process, and then the veteran's entitled to appeals and this and that. But it's a system that's stacked against you, but it's not impossible as long as you know the rules and know how to play the game. And that's kind of where I come in. Who qualifies? So if you have a 10% rating and you have a severe employability handicap, you qualify. If you have a 20% rating and an employability handicap, you qualify. Now, the way that severe employability handicap comes into play is that it gives you more wiggle room. And most veterans are actually qualify for a severe employability handicap if they have a disability rating. And every time you get an increase in your disability rating, it changes your employability handicap. So if you go from, say, 50% to 70% on PTSD, well, that's incorporating more symptoms and you have a better argument with your counselor. So you could potentially use Voc Rehab a second, third, fourth time every time your disability picture changes. There's a 48-month standard entitlement. So eligibility means you're eligible to use the program. Entitlement is how much time you have on the program. So, for instance, if you went to school for a traditional semester, you start in August and end in December, probably use 3.5 months. It's day for day. Now, if you have an SEH, a severe employability handicap, that's just the rule the counselor tells you exists, and it no longer applies. So I used my first time around with Voc Rehab for 72 months. They kept saying, you can't get an extension again. What a bet. Here's the rule. Boop. So knowing your rights and knowing the rules helps extend that. The stipend that comes along with it, kind of like the GI Bill, there's an associated stipend. If you have any portion of your post 9/11 eligibility left, you can elect to use the post 9/11 GI Bill rate, which is based on BAH, or if you're an online program or study abroad, it's like half the national average. If you do not have that left, you still get a stipend, but it's based on a different measure. It starts at like $800 and something and then adds onto it based on number of dependents. The difference between VR&E and Voc Rehab and the GI Bill is there's no tuition cap. The price is the price. Once your plan is approved, it doesn't matter how much the school is. They're going to pay it. They also pay for all the books, all the supplies. If you need a computer to compete with your peers in the same program, if the average person going to that program would have a computer, and or if a computer is necessary to complete the program, they'll pay for that as well. If one of your service-connected disabilities is, your back, and you need a standing desk or a chair, pay for that as well. There are 5 different tracks, and this is important, knowing which one would most likely fit you when you go in to speak with your counselor, because they're supposed to walk you through the process and get you through it, but if you don't know your situation and how this is going to apply to you, pretty good chance you're not going to get a fair shake. The reemployment track doesn't really apply to what we're doing here. Neither does the rapid access. Now, self-employment, possibly. Long-term services, yes, and independent living, yes. So, independent living, though, is a program that helps you learn to live independently. So there's 2 ways that can be used. It can be used as a terminal goal, meaning the end goal is just to get you to where you can live on your own with your disabilities, and or live independently to enter a long-term services program or self-employment. Right. So, for example, if your home situation is not one in which you can live comfortably with your disability, say you need an access ramp or something like that, then you might use independent living to get your living situation fixed, so that your mental focus can be on attending a long-term services program and to re-enter employment. Long-term services are the more traditional college, university, degree-seeking type statuses, kind of like the also Westminster setup. Westminster is what's called the School of Record, and so then that's how the GI Bill gets the GI Bill and Voc Rehab, they can get certified through the School of Record through Westminster, and then it covers OLSA as part of their program. The self-employment is another one they do not like to approve at all. That's when you're going into your business for yourself. So, for example, say you wanted to open your own translation company and include OLSA as part of that. You could use the self-employment program. Now it takes a lot of crafting because the independent living without a long-term services, they don't like to approve. And the self-employment, they don't like to approve. Most people will fall into this long-term services category. Now that can be straightforward if you've never used Voc Rehab before and you're within your eligibility window and this and that. But a lot of times still foreign training can take some crafting with Voc Rehab because the counselor has to sign off on it. When you come in through GI Bill, if you have GI Bill eligibility, it's more, does this fit with your degree program or not? It's more cut and dry. So it just breaks down the independent living plans. So who may qualify? Veterans whose service-connected disabilities are so severe that returning to or pursuing suitable employment is not reasonably feasible at this time. And feasibility always comes into a Voc Rehab program. Like I said, home modifications, language training for community access. And so if you lived in, if you already live in Columbia and your disabilities are such that you need, to speak to your providers, maybe you use the foreign military, the FMP for healthcare here and stuff, and your providers don't speak English, that would be a solid argument for ILP, right? I need to be able to speak Spanish to speak to, my providers. So, I personally have a program pending. I submitted an ILP program for myself because I have epileptic seizures as a result of a traumatic brain injury I sustained during the invasion of Iraq. And so my argument is that I need to be able to speak Spanish fluently to be able to live independently and comfortably in Colombia, right? So it's something like that, something to be able to help you live independently, and it has to associate back to your service-connected disabilities. So there are two different ways this can work. So like if you're doing an ILP program, the independent living program, you might not have the best argument for School of Record, but Voc Rehab can pay for anything that the counselor signs off on. So if you can't do School of Record, they could pay for a program directly, pay OLSA directly. But they don't like doing that. They're probably going to try to figure out a way to make you do the School of Record. But just to know there are two options. VRE versus post 9/11. So, oh yeah, by the way, in that WhatsApp group, any questions you guys have during our presentations, put them in that WhatsApp group, and then in the afternoon on a follow-on, we're going to address those questions. So as a group, and then also do the breakoffs. Tuition cap. Again, Chapter 31, VRE, none. Post 9/11, national private school cap, which is approximately $30K a year. Entitlement, 48 months versus 36. However, there really is no end if you have a severe employability handicap. You can extend that forever. Trust me, I did it. Also, if you have post 9/11 and you use your VRE, it does not take away from your 36 months on post 9/11. You still have that afterwards. There certifications. There's no per test cap, and preparation work's covered. So say you're going to take a certification at the end of your OLSA program to prove that you're a certain proficiency level. VRE covers it, no problem. The post 9/11 has a 1,000-year flat, and it also pulls away from your time. So you're going to trade a month of your eligibility on post 9/11, which is a month of tuition and a month of your stipend, which is like thousands of dollars for a $1,000. Like, what? Doesn't make sense. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, equipment fully funded on VRNE, not funded on Chapter 33. Substance and housing, we covered those two routes. Post 9/11's VAH at E5 plus dependents. Foreign reduced and online reduced. It goes to half the national average, which I think is about $1,500 a month. Foreign use, VRC, just the voc rehab counselor, approved. It's a broad scope. They can approve a lot of stuff. Whereas the post 9/11 is only a degree only at approved foreign schools using the school of record model. Disability requirement, you have to have a service-connected disability rating plus employability handicap for voc rehab, and there is none for Chapter 33.
Excuse me, Donnie.
Yeah.
What about, this applied to some others who, well, pre 9/11, let's say Montgomery GI Bill. How does that factor in comparison?
It doesn't factor in.
Would the benefits be the same then?
Are you talking about Chapter 30 MGIB?
I guess.
I can't think of a scenario in which anyone would still qualify for their Chapter 30.
Okay.
Because Chapter 30 had a 10-year elimination rate from the day of your ETS. And they stopped issuing Chapter 30 long enough ago that no one is within their 10-year ETS date to still have Chapter 30 benefits.
Right. Just to get an understanding. So
Yeah.
everything we'd be eligible for is VR, and me.
Yeah, or Chapter 33 if someone. So Chapter 33 does have a indefinite time period for anyone who ETS'd after August 1st of 2013. Prior to that, then they had a delimitation date of 15 years from day after ETS. So quite a few people would still have Chapter 33.
I'm glad that you mentioned that, because that was one of my experiences after I got out the military, back put in from boot camp all up until my active duty ended, and to the first Montgomery GI Bill. And they make you aware that there is a 10-year time on that.
Right.
So I'm glad that you did mention that for the mere fact that all the information that you're dispensing, those have all been my experiences.
Yeah. So there is a new regulation out called like the Rudhauser. It's spelled weird, so I'm probably not saying it right. And anyone who had two qualifying periods in which, so for instance, I joined in the 90s and then got out in 06. So I had a qualifying period for Chapter 30 and a qualified period for Chapter 33. Well, there was new legislation passed giving entitlement back to people who had two different qualification periods, because before they made you choose one and eliminate the other. So if you want to use your 33, you had to give up your rights to 30. There was some recent legislation that changed that. And so later on, I'll put some information on that and the WhatsApp group, so everyone can look and see if that might apply to them, and they can do an application to be considered under that new legislation. The BAH election. So if you do have Chapter 33 entitlement left, when you see your counselor, you have to let them know that you elect to use that payment option, and that's how you elect it. Like I was saying, if you've already used VRNE once, that doesn't mean you can't use it again. They'll tell you can't, but that's not true. Yeah.
So just to understand, Chapter 33 is the post 9/11.
Correct. And Chapter 31 is VRNE, Vocational Rehabilitation and Education.
And Chapter 35?
That is DEA. That's for dependents of people who are 100% service connected, permanent and total, and or survivors of those who passed away either in combat or after receiving 100% eligibility.
So I could technically use 31 and my son used 35.
Correct. Yeah.
one last thing. Now, you mentioned permanent and total.
Mhm.
Now, is permanent and total the same thing as TDIU?
No.
Because I'm TDIU, and that's separate from.
So TDIU stands for Total Disability Under Individual Employability, meaning that you have a service-connected disability of one individual service-connected disability of 70% and or a combination of two disabilities that, and under that, you're unable to work, but you don't qualify for scheduler rating, meaning all your individual disabilities don't by themselves add up to 100%. But you can't work, because like you have to be pretty much paralyzed to get 100% for your back. So if you have like a 70% rating for your back, you probably can't do anything too much. So they go ahead and they say you're unemployable, and they award you 100% based on that scenario. And when they do that, they then pull your yearly records from the Social Security Administration to make sure you don't exceed the national average of poverty, which is, I think right now, just under 14 grand or right around 14 grand. And they check on that. You can reach permanent and total on TDIU and get those same benefits. But TDIU by itself does not automatically grant that. Typically, they use the cutoff age of about 55 to start making to awarding P&T, but it can't happen prior to that. You have to look at your most recent decision letter to see if you have P&T, and or if you look at your additional benefits on VA.gov and you see Chapter 35 on there, that means you have P&T.
But that would not knock me out as far as like the educational.
No. So VRNE is not related to whether or not you're permanent and total. Chapter 35 for dependent is related to whether you're permanent and total. All right, so the big takeaway from this is if you get a rating increase, then you likely can use VRNE again if with the proper argument to your voc rehab counselor. And I've been doing disability benefits almost as long as I've been doing education benefits. And there's almost no veteran who's come to me who's not 100% already is adequately rated. I'm just telling you, there's probably something in there you don't even know about that you can get service connected or increased on. Right. So, and when you do that again, it opens up VRNE. So, it's something to consider. So again, if you didn't get the link I put out, there's a link to the conference page. How am I doing on time?
You got about 10 minutes.
10? Oh, okay. So if you guys have any more broad questions, not individual questions, because there's protected information involved in education and in disability stuff. So that's why we'll be doing the breakouts in the afternoon. But if you have any broad questions about benefits as a whole, I can answer those in the time I have remaining.
I'm actually finishing up with my post-9/11 GI Bill. I have 0 days now. I finished school in June, and then they're going to give me the $1,200 refund in August. But what I've done is, like you said, when I was in the States and even here, I applied online twice. The first time I did have a meeting with a counselor, like you said, it was kind of weird. They were saying what they wouldn't do, what they ain't going to do. So I kind of failed back because I had the GI Bill. I just get my master's degree with that. Kind of like wash my hands clean up. So my question is, when I complete this, I'm zeroed out, how can I use the VRE in Columbia?
Yeah, so did everybody hear him? Yes?
Just repeat it for the camera.
All right, so he said that he's completing his undergraduate degree and that's going to tax all of his entitlement on his Chapter 33 and wanting to know how he could use it at basically VRNE afterwards. So VRNE is not an educational benefit. It's an occupational rehabilitation program. So completing a bachelor's degree does not necessarily mean you're employable. So they'll pay for all the education, training, and certification necessary to enter in to an occupation that one has feasibility. Can the veteran do it? Two, employability and growth. So they're probably not going to send you to a DOS program to learn how to use DOS. Now, nobody even knows what a terminal looks like anymore. So yeah, there's got to be growth. So things that are involved in occupations that have growth potential, and you'll have to look up market analysis and stuff like that. And then
Or something like on the trades kind of level also.
as long as there's growth potential, and it doesn't interfere with your employability or your disabilities. So for example, I had a veteran come to me for help, and he was upset because his rehab counselor wouldn't approve his fire academy training. And I'm like, bro, you've got a 40% disability for your back and a 20 for your shoulder and a 30 for your neck. Like, of course they're not going to. Like, you're going to carry like 3 people out of a fire and be done and have to switch careers, and then you'll be right back in here looking for approval. Go ahead.
So I'm actually getting my master's, but my question was that the reason why I'm kind of on the fence with it. So I live here full time. I got a home record in Atlanta I do have a business, but like you said, I looked into it, watched a whole bunch of YouTube videos. The self-employability, they deny them. I do have an LLC. I've been operating for over 10 years, but I was like, well, I don't know my plan of attack on how to use it and get them to approve it and live overseas in Colombia.
Yeah.
Because I don't go back to the States but like once or twice.
Yes, that's a more advanced conversation.
Okay,
Yeah. That's employability track, self-employability track is one that they don't like to approve, and it takes a lot of work.
It's a lot of money that comes out of that.
Yeah, graduate degrees and self-employment programs and ILPs. Those take a lot of work, a lot of individual crafting. Yeah.
And a lot of money.
And a lot of money, yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I have paid services that people pay for help because I can't work for free. But that's kind of what, like the bread and butter of the services. We help people like develop their programs because it takes a lot of hours. It's not like it's not cookie cutter.
ILP, what is that?
Independent living program. So housing adjustments, things that will help you live independently.
And it coincides with the HUD badge program also.
It can, yes, if you.
Now, I heard that the VA will provide for adaptive housing here also. Is it need to do it?
No.
Okay, so
Maybe through a different program, but VRNE won't.
no, for sure, VR.
Yeah.
But based on some other housing.
It can also, the problem you run into with VRNE a lot here is they like to tell you that they won't do certain things in foreign countries. And a lot of those are also not true. Yeah.
Is there a VRNE right here in Colombia?
No. So all South America, all South American VRNE claims go through the Houston regional office. Unless you use your home of record when you apply, and then it will go through there. But then that might end up delaying you because once you meet with the counselor and say I already live in Colombia, they will probably route you back through Houston, so you go back on the waiting list to get on a counselor's desk again.
Yeah, they told me to get it here and have to change my address to here.
Yeah.
How
Correct.
does it work with the credits like in Miami to bring them here?
That's going to be a Thomas question down the road.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to say out loud, people who ask about DEA, just know that it's a stipend, it's not a full benefit, if that makes sense.
Correct.
So your child will get a stipend every month, not
Yes.
tuition paid for.
And so typically how it works with DEA for the student and school relationship is that the with VRNE and Chapter 33, post 9/11, the school is on the hook. They're liable for paying that bill. On Chapter 35, because the student just directly receives a stipend, and it's not in any way related to the tuition amount or anything else, that the student is obligatory for all related costs. They just get a stipend from the VA, but arranging payment, getting payments, that's all on the student.
Does that fall under this for like main school also?
Yeah, so under the School of Record, under School of Record, a veteran could get certified. So the same certification process for Chapter 33 and other, like the post 9/11, is the same for DEA. All right, that concludes my time. Thomas, you were next. So this is the man who's going to answer all those tuition questions. All right.
Whenever, pass the mic. Whenever there's an audience question, if you can repeat the question for the mic so that the people online can hear it.
Okay, will do. All right. Yeah. Hello, online people. All of those online people. Hi. I have a few notes. They don't get lunch. They have to make their own lunch. So good morning. Thanks to all of you for coming here today. I really appreciate you showing up. I've met some of you already online or in person, and it's good to meet you in person as well. And I'll look forward to hopefully speaking with some of you if you're interested in chatting later on. So my name is Thomas Morgan. I'm the Executive Director of IPSL Global Engagement at Westminster University. So I want to start by saying kind of why I'm here. So my main purpose in being part of this amazing collaboration between Glenn, Shane, and Donnie is I want to be of service to you guys. I want to be of service to all of you, as you were in service to me, our nation, and our communities. And I want you to know how much I appreciate it. I am not a veteran, but I have deep, deep appreciation and respect and for what you did and do. So thank you. So before we talk more about kind of education and the program options, because that's my side of things. I'm not a VA benefits person at all. But I do know a lot about programs and language study and degree programs through our university and degree programs, quite frankly, around the world, because that's my field. I want to start with a story because I think stories are important. They help kind of paint a picture. So when I was 16 years old, I got on a plane. My parents and my friends came to the airport to see me off. That was in the days when you could go all the way to the gate with people. And I left and I went to live in Tegucigalpa, Honduras for a year. And I was an AFS exchange student. Now, that was a big feat for me to do that. But I had always been the kind of person who wanted to travel. I wanted to see the world. I wanted to learn languages because I had taken like French in high school and it was like, wow, this kind of came easily to me. And so I thought, all right, I'm gonna keep pursuing language study. This is what I really love doing. And so I applied for this AFS exchange program. I went to Honduras. I lived with a Honduran family who spoke zero English. I went to a Honduran high school, a colegio, and alongside my fellow students, and I struggled. The first half of the year, I failed pretty much everything, literally, except for math, and which you'll be happy to, math and PE. And so the teachers actually counted my second semester grades twice for the year because it was clear that it was because of language ability or the lack of language ability. For those of you who don't know, so AFS stands for the American Field Service. This is an the granddaddy of high school exchange programs. And AFS actually as a group, American Field Service, has been around since World War I. AFS volunteers were mostly people who were from the peace churches, so like the Quakers and the Brethren, who were conscientious objectors and did not fight, but did go and assisted in the war, in World War I. And they were the ambulance drivers. They were the ones who assisted alongside the medics and in the hospitals, in the field. So after World War I, they stopped operations, they disbanded. And then after World War II, however, they regrouped. And the American Field Service, the same group of people, came together to perform the same functions that they had performed during World War I, namely volunteering to be ambulance drivers in areas of combat, but assisting as with the medical teams. And at the end of World War II, the soldiers who actually were the first to enter the Bergen-Belsen concentration camp in Germany, were so obviously struck by what they saw and experienced and the horrors of what Nazism and fascism had done in Europe, that they resolved alongside those AFS volunteers to create a program whereby young people would get together early on in their lives in some form of exchange and live with each other's families. Because their contention was, and our contention still is today, that it makes it a lot harder to go to war with somebody when you've sat across the table from them and you've tried to learn their language and you've learned about their culture and you've broken bread with them. And so to this day, AFS exists, and it totally changed me. I was a very green, typical American kid. I grew up in Florida. I went to public high school, but I had this kind of desire to go do something different, to learn another language, to travel. And so I did this program, and my parents supported me in doing it. And after the program, my whole life went into a vortex. Like I was on a trajectory all over. So my path to where I am now with IPSL has not been linear. It has been very circuitous, and I've enjoyed every minute of it, but it has been, a lot of it has been serendipity, quite frankly. And it's because I made that decision, like many of you who decided to come here to Colombia, to just put yourself out there, to try something different, right? And because you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know the people you don't know until you put yourself out there. And so that is what has kind of changed me. And everything that I have done in my life, I'm 62, everything I've done professionally in my life has somehow related to the international aspect. I worked in high tech. I worked at Microsoft for a number of years, translating those, well, back in the day, you used to get floppy disks when you installed software, and you got large computer manuals. And anyway, I localized all that stuff into different languages. I also taught. I was a German professor. So, I should probably mention this. I studied an undergrad. I did an undergrad in international finance, and then I did a dual master's degree in German and Spanish. And then I went on to do a PhD program in German, because I love languages. I taught for a while. I was a German professor, really enjoyed it. What I really enjoyed most of all of that, though, was traveling with my students. Taking my students as groups to other countries and bearing witness to that moment when you just see their heads kind of open up to the difference, to the world, to possibility. And so that's how I got involved in this field that I'm in now. So I'm executive director of IPSL, which is the International Partnership for Service Learning. We are part of Westminster University, and that's how this collaboration is kind of a four-legged chair. And this has been a long time coming. Like Glenn and I have been working on this for 6 years. And we've had, a lot of kind of obstacles thrown in our way, including COVID, but we've persevered. And here we are, sitting with all of you. And we're excited to be doing this because the programs are in place, everything's in place, Donnie as a resource is in place, and we just need to start having some conversations. So IPSL is an old organization. It's been around since 1981, so we're 45 years old. We are the founding organization of the service learning movement. And if you don't know what service learning is, it's an educational model that in 1981 was unheard of, but now is taught on every single campus in the country and actually around the world. And it's the union of kind of traditional academic study with volunteer service in the field. So almost all of our students who study, whether they're taking content courses, whether they're in a degree program, whether they're learning a language like what you can do at OLSA, they also do volunteer service in the community for a variety of reasons. One is because we believe in giving back. We believe in civic engagement. We believe in service. But from a linguistic standpoint, and that's my background, there's no better way to learn the language than to force yourself to use it. Or as we say in Spanish, a la fuerza, right? You don't have your American English-speaking buddies to rely on. You have to learn the language. That was my situation in Honduras, right? So, and that's how, and it was hard. It was really, really hard. I had lots of headaches, lots of fits too. But I persevered. So IPSL has been around for 45 years. I've been the director of IPSL for 18 years, and I've had the enormous privilege of working with people like these gentlemen here during those 18 years, creating programs in Vietnam, Peru, South Africa, Greece, France, all over the world, always with the same goal of working with people who, as Glenn will tell you, the tagline for his corporation, I won't steal his thunder, but there's a point to travel. There's a purpose for you out there when you're in someone else's country, when you're a guest in someone else's country in particular. That kind of an international, intercultural opportunity is it's remarkable, and it will change your life if you just grab it. And so that's what I've been doing for 18 years. I've been working with students of all ages, people who are trying to finish a degree, not trying to finish a degree. I work with 70-year-olds who, I just sent a 72-year-old woman to Argentina to our program in Buenos Aires for 8 weeks. She's volunteering in an elementary school and taking Spanish. I also work with, 19-year-olds, pretty green, first time abroad. And we have those kinds of support structures in place, not only in my team at IPSL Westminster, but our teammates abroad. And it's these kinds of individuals that we've partnered with over the years to challenge you, yes, but it's a structured challenge and it's a supported challenge. So we put you through that gauntlet, but knowing full well that it's by design. And so that's what we have here in Colombia. We, as in Westminster University, are the official school of record for OLSA and for Minga House in Chinchiná. What that means is school of record is an educational term in higher ed, but in VA terminology, it's a study site. So it is a study site. Yep. It is basically a de facto extension of our university in another part of the world. Glenn Galindo is our adjunct faculty member. He's a Westminster adjunct faculty member and in charge of the academics for the students who come to Colombia to study. We offer, as I say, language programs. So for those of you who really want to take Spanish and become fluent, we can help you. We offer undergraduate degree programs. We offer 2 very unique graduate programs that I had a hand in kind of creating and morphing over these 18 years. One is International Development and Service, and the other one is community organizing and social activism. And both of these degree programs are completed outside of the US. Students never even set foot on the Westminster campus until maybe commencement at the end, if you want to walk during graduation. We just had commencement a few weeks ago. Otherwise, these programs are completed at our study sites, right? At our study sites in 22 different countries. And in those countries, students do, as you might imagine, they take coursework, but then they also do the civic engagement. They do the volunteer service and community in nonprofits and NGOs that are, generally we are working with organizations that support the most vulnerable and marginalized populations in those regions. That includes Colombia. And so, as I said, Glenn and I met 6 years ago. It was through one of our graduate students, actually, that we met, who is also a US veteran, who is also Colombian American. He was 10 years old when he left Colombia. His father took him to the United States. He became a citizen under an amnesty program in the 80s and then joined the Navy, and he was a career Navy guy. And then when he finished, he lives in Oregon, where I live. By the way, our school is located in Salt Lake City, Utah. It is not religiously affiliated. I say that because in Utah it's famous for Mormons. But it's not religiously affiliated. We're a secular school. But I'm outposted. So my entire team lives outside. So we have Seattle employees and Portland, and then all of our teammates around the world, like Glenn and Shane and Donnie. So it's been an honor to have this role for these years, and I'm enjoying doing it. I don't see myself retiring anytime soon. I look forward to it at some point, but I enjoy working with my students, with my participants. It's a fantastic opportunity for me to kind of keep my brain fresh and to help people and to serve them, to help them kind of find that path that way back those AFS volunteers helped me do, that set me on that wide open path, right? And if they hadn't been there for me, I wouldn't be here standing in front of you right now. So I look forward to connecting with you guys, whether you want to do a program here or wherever, or just want some additional information. I am a wealth of knowledge about higher ed and credits and transfer and all that sort of thing, which is a minefield in and of itself. But we've done a lot of the heavy work already. As Shane always says, he's built the Porsche, he's just waiting for the gas. So it's like, you know, we've got it all set up. And yeah, I'm ready to get going. Thanks.
Give us love.
Switch the mic.
I don't know if we want to drop this here.
The fuzzy mic.
I don't know where the clip is.
There you go.
Okay. Can we get on, you guys?
So just put it right here. Is that, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. Yep, I think that's it. Okay, good morning, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, Donnie. Thank you, Thomas. My name is Glenn Galindo. I've resided now in Colombia for 13 years. First 2 years, I kept coming and going, and eventually you decide, why am I leaving? And then you stay. And so, as I'll share with you on the slides, for me, this is, like Thomas said, it's like, wow, because we've been thinking about this moment. Eventually, COVID was going to be done. Eventually, we thought we had the green light with the university a year ago, and then Doge came along. Good thing, stopping a lot of fraud, all that good stuff. It's good, positive. And it wasn't only until the last month that we had green light again. Go, you can do this. It's super, super important that we don't see this as a new project with new players. Super important. Now, thank you guys for being here today. I think there's going to be hundreds, if not thousands, that eventually will see this presentation in future presentations. And a lot of the folks that will be watching us and considering this program are not going to be like us that live here in Colombia. They're going to be the vets that are coming out and are looking a place to finish their degree, use your GI Bill, and there'll be a different growing audience. So it's for both. Today, we're thrilled, happily, to now share with our peers, those of you like I that live here, but there'll be a lot of others that are just going to be exiting the service this year, next year, and wow, there is an option that I can continue my studies. And as my friends told me, as my peers told me, I can be down there in Colombia, either temporarily or consider a move like us. So I'll be speaking to both audiences that I think eventually the growing audience will be for those servicemen and women that are going to be coming out recently, if not this year or next year. So I want to come to you as a fellow vet that's now an expat living here in Colombia. The organizations that we finally put together are very, very established. IPSL was with a different university, but they wanted a bigger catalog of courses. And so they went through a diligent process of selecting the partnership. And I was thrilled when his team selected Westminster University because it matches to what we do. And in Minga House Foundation, we do a lot of work in health, education, social work, and so it had that large catalog of courses and had a VSO, veteran service officer on campus, established program for veterans, and they were doing a lot of study abroad. So it matched to all the objectives that IPSL have been doing. But Westminster University has been around since 1875. Awesome. IPSL, as Thomas said, 1981. Minga House, we launched in Christmas of 2013. Also, this building, Shane, I think he came into this building 9 years ago. So, yes, finally we get the green light to, like the Avengers come together and provide the service, but it's not anything new that we haven't been doing individually before. We just got the green light for a funding source for veterans to participate. So we're happy that now we can welcome our community to participate in the services that we've already been doing. That's really important message for me to share. That is not an experiment. It's not a new thing. We just get to welcome the participation for veterans who want to spend some time in Colombia. Like you said, the graduate programs with IPSL, there's some students that are doing their master's degrees in 3 or 4 or 5 countries, spending a month, 2, 3 months in each country doing the components with online work and service projects in those countries. Now they can also come through here in Colombia and participate. We can't cover everything. So what I really hope, and those of you listening, is that you go to all our individual websites, that you reach out and email what's up, and then you engage. So we can talk about your specific profile, your specific objectives, and see what we can make happen with you. Okay. So, but we'll cover the general sense. In fact, the presentation that you're going to see mine, you can go to our mingahouse.org and you look at U.S. veterans, and it's linked at the bottom of that page. So all the notes, everything is there for you. Okay. And you can find me easy via WhatsApp. Quick little background about myself. So I was in the Marine Corps. I had a great time in Camp Pendleton, studied criminal justice. And this goes to our idea of finding purpose. Many of us, those of you just getting out of the service, finishing undergrad, who knows if you'll even use that undergrad. And a lot of us end up studying something that you may never even apply. So perhaps finding purpose, objective really might be most efficient way before you embark in a program. So that's always on top of my concern. In service learning, that's actually my graduate degree. And this is when IPSL, Thomas and I clicked because we met. Basically, service learning is the idea that you're doing community service, but not just because. I have a lot of people that come to say, hey, I'd like to volunteer. And they say, whatever you need, I'll do it. I just want to help. I say, hold on, time out. that's not as enriching or as useful to you as knowing why you want to do. And then maybe we put you in the right role for your season in life, wherever you're doing, whatever you're considering, that'll give you that growth experience, that learning or giving back, whatever it is your intent. And sometimes we have to talk about it to really find what you should be doing in terms of volunteering. So learning, service learning, just basically you've established some learning objectives, you do the volunteering, you do the work, and then there's some reflection. And then you analyze if those learning objectives, if your goals were met, or maybe you tweak it and you do it again. So it's just an ongoing process where you intentionally think about, why am I going to clean the trash in that park? Why am I going to clean the beach? Why am I going to help tutor those children? And then you observe, you reflect after you do it to see if it was a match or what did you learn about yourself through that process. That's all that really means. My story in Colombia is I came out, I got dragged out to Medellin in 2007 to be the best man of a buddy of mine. I don't know if you've ever heard of an American fall in love with a Colombian girl, and it happens. And he pushed me he dragged me into Colombia in the spring break in graduate school to be his best man. I thought I'd be here a week. I called my professors and I said, hey, I've been kidnapped. But I think I can get away in 2 weeks. Glenn! They said, okay. I stayed 3 weeks. I came right back this summer, that summer, and spent the whole summer, got to see Bogota. That was in 2007. And so that's where Colombia got into my blood. Then later on in life, in 2013, came up with the reason. A buddy of mine that does a lot of medical missions, and his father and him founded a company. They operate all over the world. And for nursing and medical students, they do medical missions, 1 week, 2 weeks, working with local doctors and so on. And I suggested, hey, add Colombia. And he said, all right, you go do it. That's all I needed to hear. So I came out for 2 years, going back and forth, bringing university teams. And then I'm using military terms here, my recon, my deployments. And in 2016, what happened is new season in my life, met the right lady. Today, tomorrow, the next day, have my 4th child with her. So my family, my chapter, this season of my life is here. Last time I was in the US was 2 years ago. I was blessed to make it. My father passed away. I got to be with him the last 3 weeks of his life. Cherished that forever. But I also became absolutely convinced I was going to stay in Colombia. So I'm probably going to stay here, and I love my life. I have clear purpose to what I do. I hope that we stay in contact, or you reach out to me, and I'd love to have those discussions. If you're wondering what your purpose is, if you're wondering why you came to Colombia, or if you know why, that we find the projects that give you that which you need in your season in life, because we all got different stages and different seasons. And I've met some of my fellow peer veterans and just non-veterans who are out wandering abroad, but they're wandering abroad. Maybe running away from something, maybe looking for something, but they haven't quite figured out what it is they're looking for. And it makes it difficult to find a home if you haven't figured that part out. And we all do it at different stages in our life. So I love to have those discussions, and if I can serve in that manner, I'm a happy man. I'm so happy that this is a slide that I give to every presentation I ever do. We've had over 2,000 volunteers since 2013 come through Minga House Foundation, and I always say at the beginning, thank you, because I don't have my dream role without your interest to come in and visit, to come put Colombia in your life. So whether you're here for a week or you're looking to relocate, it doesn't matter. It gives me my purpose, and I just couldn't be happier. So it's lovely. It's my 3 little guys, my lovely bride, and like I said, by Saturday, Sunday, or maybe today, she's under medication, so she's waiting for me to come back. I'll be going back tonight, and we'll be a family of 7.
Lynn,
Yes.
thank you for being a parent.
and it's a fading art form now. The birth rates in
Hey, man.
Colombia are crashing. The birth rates all over the Americas are crashing.
How many years did we hear there's too many people, and now Elon Musk is popping like 20 babies?
I mean, it's
Yeah.
the bravest, most courageous thing you'll ever do, dude. And you're shaping
Oh, it's
the
fun.
future. Thank you for being a dad.
It's lots of fun. Real quick blurb, because I'm going to be the last guy you guys talk to. First, you're going to talk to Donnie and figure out funding options, right? Make strategy, wait for approval, all that good stuff. Then you're going to talk to Thomas. Thomas is the university, him and his team, right? And you're going to come up with an academic short-term, long-term program, graduate, undergraduate, or just language. I'm the last guy, Shane and I. If you're in Medellin, you're probably going to take Spanish courses through here. I'm ecstatic to have Ulsa on board. I got to invite Shane on board this team. Majority in Colombia, majority of our expat vets live in Medellin. Very established language center. Beautiful site, great staff. This is perfect. Thank you for joining us. It took them 2 seconds to say yes because it made sense. And so we're thrilled. We're thrilled with the team we put together. But if you end up going to Chinchina, this is the history of our foundation. We started established as a Colombian nonprofit in 2013. All we did for the couple of first years is pre-nursing, nursing, pre-meds, med teams would come. We go to a Vereda, that's a small village in the Coffee region. We've done 73 to date, and we still do them. We contract local doctors, we buy meds. It's an educational experience for the students from the US and Canada. They come here a week, 2 weeks. We're out there, patient diagnosis, treatment. It's great fun. And that's how we launched. Then in 2016, which is when I met my bride, I said, time to stay. We started adopting other small nonprofits in our community. And we didn't want to build something bigger than them. I was convinced and quickly began meeting good people doing good things. So we thought we're going to do 3 things. We're going to identify those good people doing good things, and we're going to provide them money because they need to operate. They need money. We're going to provide them hands, volunteers. Sometimes it's an expert volunteer, sometimes a doctor for medical care, a teacher for teaching, or maybe someone who wants to learn or have a brand new experience and they just want to help. And capacity building. Capacity building could be, let's help them with their website, let's help them with a campaign, let's help them with accounting, with legal, with advice, develop them. Because sometimes nonprofits in a small town, it could just be a couple, like a husband and wife doing good things. Well, we're a nonprofit. Are you registered somewhere? No. But we're doing good things. And that's, in my mind, that's the heart of a nonprofit, right? And so we work, with sex workers and childcare for sex workers. We work with shelters for teens, shelter for homeless elderly, animal well-being, a number of projects that have developed over the last 13 years that we're super happy and proud of. One of the last projects that we got involved in is we adopted a school. In 2017 is when we started, in order to generate funds for our nonprofit, we started doing staffing. We got a call from the Secretary of Education asking us for help in a federal program. And so I got to run Colombia Bilingüe. And so we got to operate in 267 public schools. And I had 467 teachers, native English speakers in those schools throughout the country. That evolved into private schools asking us to help them bring teachers. And so we have about 212 active schools throughout Colombia that we help staffing, not just for English, but natural science, social science, math, PE, whatever it is. And that's one way that we financed our nonprofit. And that's when I started thinking about Truths for Teachers. And but we didn't quite have the mechanism now that we're going to have. So now we're going to have to be able to, because a lot of us, are just natural instructors, just from experience that we have in the military. And so now we're going to be able to tie them into educational courses so that they can perhaps transition. You can choose to become a teacher abroad through academic programs. So we'll talk about that later. But now that's actually a channel that can be filled. And there's tons of opportunity to be a teacher in Colombia. Then 2019 because we're involved in English immersion programs with state governments, City of Medellin, City of Cali, Quindío State, and others. We would do immersion programs for public school Colombian teachers. And I would always ask them that if they wanted to improve their level of English, they should go abroad. And they said, well, how do we do that? Okay. So I found some companies to give them webinars to show them how they could get a job in the US. And after a couple of webinars, we'd have a couple of hundred Colombian teachers, and they'd come online and show them what they could do to get a job in Colombia. You know, the providers, the companies would say, Glenn, I could use all of those teachers, man. So as soon as the pandemic was over, by then I knew that that could be another source for us to develop a business, a service for us to fund our nonprofit, and we took off. And I can tell you details about that when we're one-on-one or some other time. But to date, we have a little over 700 now teachers, Colombian teachers in other countries, working and living in the U.S. as a teacher. So those two staffing opportunities, and we work in Costa Rica and opening up other countries, we are funding our nonprofit work as a foundation. After we started working with IPSL and other universities, Moreland University and others, we started doing courses like field courses, and that's why IPSL was a perfect match. We started working for credit courses in education and health and social work. And in 2022, we adopted a school to develop our first bilingual school in our community. Chinchiná is about 65,000. It's surrounded with coffee villages, and they didn't have one. So the school went out of business, talked to the principal, decided to adopt it. She said, well, go for it. And now we're on our 4th year of that project. And it's our biggest project, most excited about. And I think I always had the dream of being a high school principal. And Shane was actually a high school vice principal. And so I get to live my dream. Again, I'm living my purpose. What I love about being here is they let me try to solve the problems I choose. And that makes me happy. So when I find a problem in our community, it's my opportunity. And it's small enough that you're talking to all the decision makers, the leaders, you know, from the mayor to the police chief, to the fire chief, to the 2 or 3 large industry leaders, and we just solve it. And to me, I can't ask for a better role in my life. Now that we had a school and we were already doing volunteering, we started bringing in families. So we've had 17 families with their children, some veteran families, which is awesome. And something called World Schooling. I didn't know it exists. It's a thing. And that's where you travel with your kids. And it's basically homeschooling on the go. And apparently there's a whole bunch of them. And so since last year, we've had 17 families. And there's about 10 others that are incoming. And so that's providing our Colombian students relevancy. My favorite word in education, relevancy. It provides them a reason that in that otherwise rural community, they'd have no use for English. But now, because they're in their soccer field, because they're in the swim team, because they're playing chess together, or because they think that, you know, Swedish girl is cute, that little boy has immediate use for that second language of English. So it's fantastic. All these pieces are coming together. And so we look forward to now more veteran families. One was just speaking that just went by our school, had 2 kids, a couple of Air Force pilots retired, and introduced them to Thomas, and they were world schooling anyway. So now they're in love with IPSL. They're going to go and they haven't even used their GI Bill, so they're going to go to different sites all over the world with their kids, acquiring further education. It's awesome. And now, we have this vehicle. That's where we are, Chinchiná. Anybody ever been to Chinchiná? Yeah, I see. Tony? Awesome. Okay, great. It's between Manizales and Pereira, the Armenia region, all in the coffee region. Okay, again, for those not here who don't know, a reason to consider Colombia is its huge biodiversity. Yesterday, a volunteer staying at our facility on an app called Merlin counted 94 bird species in one day at my house.
There's an emotional 60 Minutes episode with Anderson Cooper.
Oh.
visiting The bird watching.
Oh, I'm going to look it up.
It's spectacular. And then people are commenting in there about being from Colombia and crying because it's a positive story about Colombia. Very recent. The bird watching is supposed to be world class.
Yeah, 94 species. First day, the guy was just going insane. He was so excited. Okay. And then again, Coffee Region, Risaralda, Caldas, Quindío. Okay, so what's our proposal? Again, we're the last guys you're going to talk to. And it might take you weeks. It might take you months, depending on your funding. So extension, invitation to all of you, come and visit us. Come and check us out. Come and visit Chinchina. Come and visit Pereira. Come and visit Manizales. Come and visit the Coffee Region. See our programs. If you're going to be involved through IPSL, part of it is doing some service learning, some volunteering, seeing, engaging in the community. As you'll see in our description of our, this is some of the programs we already have that already in the catalog of IPSL and other academic institution partners. Most of our participants, 60-70%, simply do it as a personal experience for volunteering. They want to be here for a month, 2-3 months. We've had some people relocate and stay. Some stay, the families stay 1, 2, 3 months. They love the school because they get to do volunteering in their profession and anything they want to do, and the kids are at school. So it works. It really works.
All that talk in English. All that's taught in English.
All that is taught in English. So school. Yes. Yeah. We have a Spanish English speaking staff and Spanish instructors as well. But most of these, again, 60-70% are not courses. They're just volunteer experiences. And the level of participant could be no Spanish to absolutely fluent in Spanish. And so they may choose to have a Spanish instructor. We have a bunch of, since we have a school and a community that we're very engaged in 13 years, sometimes in just friendly barter, they exchange and they help each other English and Spanish. Our community is not a touristy community, so everyone's really excited and genuinely curious and wants to engage with you. They know that if you're not from the community, they know chances are you came through us, and they're eager to spend time with you to do language exchange. Like we have every week we have that and so on. Okay, so this is something that I want to recommend, and Thomas and I have spoken to them. It's a great veterans program. It's free to you guys. And again, this presentation is linked on US Veterans at mingahouse.org. You'll find the same presentation, so you don't need to take notes or pictures. But these guys, I want to recommend them. We're not formally entrenched with them as a partner yet, but I love what they do. They have an online course for veterans re-entering school as a transition to become successful college students. I used to run a lot of freshman courses. I've been in higher ed for about 20 years running education programs, freshman courses, first generation programs. And so I love what they do because it's free and it's all about service oriented with the veterans. And they got this online course that touches everything from the basics to note taking to career, selection, and it's there for you. So I really am always going to recommend that. I'm going to borrow some stuff. I hope to even incorporate what they do with the orientation that we are going to be putting together. I imagine the first participants in our program will probably be maybe July. June is gone. You guys are just entrenching. Thank you for those of us who listened to reach out to Thomas to start working on your program. We got the word 2 or 3 already got approved, so that's fantastic. So I imagine maybe July, I'll start seeing some participants be part of this orientation. And what are we going to address? All the basics. I mean, look, some of us, and something I don't want to forget to say, some of us that have been here for years, I just met some of you today, and are staying. That's the key, and are staying. You'll probably be involved, be part of this program, not just as participants. Some of you guys might become instructors. Some of you guys might become facilitators, workshop providers. I hope we serve a lot, and I hope some of you decide to participate and be part of the program. We've come together, but we're not done yet. If anything, this thing is just going to grow and grow and grow. So look forward to that. And if you visit, Chinchina, we'll see how maybe you can play a role with us. You're here locally. You're going to get very acquainted if you're not already with OLSA, and you might find a role. But it's important. We felt that we need to have a orientation course about living in Colombia. You know, it's a new legal environment. It's a new accounting environment, cultural, language, relationships, all kinds of stuff that we need to address. Those of us who've been here, I have certainly memory recollection of mistakes we've made, and also the heads up that others gave us so we wouldn't make them. So we're going to make sure that we do everything we can, especially for those that are watching that are still in the U.S., who can't come yet or they've hesitated to come. And we're going to make sure that there's a good orientation where all of this is addressed by the right people. Not just me, but others, specialists, lawyers, accountants, counselors, anything that we need to keep developing for our growing community. And we know it's going to keep growing. It's going to keep growing because Colombia is a wonderful place and it's going to attract a lot more of us, especially if we keep working on services. I remember when there was no medical support, I got to be part of that just a few years back, working with Danilo and the other guys, where we instigated to bring clinic to Pereira and to Medellin. I've been involved in that from the get-go, and there's more to do because this is a growing community. So anyway, these are some of just the bullets, some of the things that you can do out there that are unique to the coffee region. And things like chocolate and coffee and rail cars and Jeep rides and the coffee landscape, hot springs and all that stuff. We're gonna take a look at that. We got the Bridge of Death. You think you're so tough, come to the Bridge of Death, and we'll see. This is an example. So we're going to run the orientation for 1 week. That's what we're thinking, and we're building and shaping that together, Shane and I and Donnie. And then those who decide to take Spanish courses in Chinchina, the way we've done it, and for non-veterans, we do this 3-week course. Basically, typical day is we'll have in the morning, say the A1, A2, beginner Spanish, and in the afternoon, the more advanced intermediate, and then the swap. And in the other time, whether it be the morning or the afternoon, they'll be involved in service volunteering that deal with their interests or curiosities, because they're going to be surrounded with non-English speakers in that community, so they get to apply. They get to apply and come back the next day and tell the teacher, I could not get them to understand me. How do I say this? And so they do that for 2 or 3 weeks. They can choose 1 week at a time. Yes, sir?
How many hours?
3 hours. 3 hours in the morning, say your language classes, and then lunch, and then the afternoon. However, you have control. However much time you want to serve. You could be a coach. You could be teaching assisting. You could be, if you are a match, you could be with the paramedics doing ride-alongs. You could be in the shelter for teen kids. You could be in the college house for first-generation students. You could be, you could be working with animal shelter. You could be with City Hall talking about civic and social issues. All the neighborhoods throughout Colombia, you may or may not know, are organized by committees, right? Juntas comunales. And so we got 63 juntas comunales from the neighborhoods to all the rural veredas, villages, and we work with all of them. So you could choose, there's so much, been there 13 years, and that's why I specifically chose a coffee-rich, non-touristy community that I could quickly be involved in everything. And so it's worked wonderful for me. I loved my time in Medellin. I was single then. It's a different story. A long time ago. And this season of my life, I couldn't be happier. Just couldn't be happier. Like you, sir, said, have kids, have lots of kids. And that's easy to do around here. Be careful. Be careful. Be careful.
That brings up a question about spouses.
Yes.
Welcome on this.
Yes, of course. Yes. Or if not, you're being looking for one. Huh? Yeah. Like we have families come, and they spend the days at our school. They play in our soccer team, in our swimming team, chess team, jiu-jitsu team. Yeah. And these are all things that you could help coach and do. It's a total community immersion. We see a lot of growth for us in inviting families on board. We just had a YouTuber family come, and it was nerve-wracking because they hang out with us for a month, and then they gave us the review. They've been spending a year and a half traveling with their family. Some people do that. There's a whole community out there, World Schooling, look it up. And so they came and spent a month with us, and it was awesome. It was amazing, and there's more coming. Okay, so the weekends, again, there's a whole bunch of stuff to do up there. Again, this is online. You can take a look at that, and we can speak online easily. Hiking's big. A lot of hikes, a lot of waterways hikes, waterfalls, rivers, all kinds of stuff.
Everybody know what Tejo is?
Tejo. Who knows what Tejo is? Oh, okay. Tejo is horseshoes, but with gunpowder. That's right. So they're about 30 meters apart, and there's a slant of clay, and you sink into the clay a metal ring, and you put little paper packets full of powder and over the ring. And then you throw it from the other side about a 1, 3, or 5 pound weight. And these guys, man, they fling it, and it hits, and it pops. It's a national game of Colombia. Tejo. Yes, it is Tejo. Oh yeah, and the thing, yeah, and it's a drinking game. You pay for the beer, the games are free. So they're like, no, but these guys are pros. They're awesome. We cheat, because we're going to hear that you don't want to be there an hour and not pop. So we go right 3 feet over and wham, pop. Yeah.
Anthony Bourdain episode too.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's playing Tejo.
Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, see, I forget. I'm from a little town. Only 2-3 people knew what Tejo was. Yeah, come on visit. You're welcome to do that. And then, of course, the 2 cities are Manizales and Pereira, capital cities. Manizales is about 500,000. My favorite city, gorgeous city, big college town, always a view, perched on top. It's cooler. You can have a sweater, no sweating. And Pereira is about 1 million, flat. It's more of a city. It's got everything. And those are about half an hour on either side, capital cities.
More affordable too, right?
Yeah. We've had some expats move because it's cheap. It's a lot cheaper. It's small, so it's safer, less pollution. Usually families, there's some things that we don't have. Somebody was sharing with me about going to France and having, somebody was telling me about here that they went to France. Was it? Yeah, right here. Right. Yeah, you guys. You went to France and there was 40 types of cheeses.
Every grocery store.
Okay. Well, in Chinchina,
butter. 40 types of butter.
Well, in Chinchina, we have 1 cheese and 1 butter. So the family did not give us good review because they had just come from Europe, and so but on the food. But for me, it's perfect. But anyway, it's a great place to visit if you want to be really engaged in the community. And that's it. How much time we got left? 5? 2 minutes? Perfect. Okay. Just remember, these are 4 established entities. We just finally got the green light to be able to offer our services, our staff, our facilities, our communities with veterans. So now we have access to that funding, that entitled funding that veterans have. Those of you living here and those of you that are looking into Colombia to come out. Yes?
When you say you got the green light, we access these programs through like PRE or 9/11?
No, the relationship with IPSL was with a medical university in Portland of natural medicine. And they wanted a wider breadth of courses. So they went into a search mode and they selected Westminster University in Utah. And then when we brought the project, we want to do this in Colombia, they had to go through a process. And that was a period when Doge was checking everything. I'm all thumbs up for it, good deal. But it took another year to finally get, okay, you're good. You've been doing this forever. We're just adding access to this. Great. So that's what I mean. And that just happened, I think, in May, end of April.
Not too long ago.
So that's when it's okay. Great. And then Donnie came in the picture. Donnie's going to be hugely valuable. Really appreciate him existing for you guys, for us. Yeah, I myself am not, I have 0 rating. I don't have any military disability. I don't have that experience. So I'm not a good source for that. But I used up my GI Bill when I was still active duty, got the MBA, and that was it. But we just couldn't be happier, man. This is finally we get to. So we welcome your calls, we welcome your texts. I'll be the last guy. In the meantime, if you want to come on visit, you're super welcome to come on visit. Okay. And remember, this presentation is at the bottom of U.S. Veterans and our website, mingahouse.org. You'll find it all there.
Methods of travel time.
I'm sorry?
What travel methods and travel time from Medellin?
Certainly bus, Occidental, a bunch of them, right? Direct to Chinchina. You can fly into Pereira. Don't fly into Manizales. Half the flights get diverted to Pereira. So Pereira, you can fly into that. I would do the bus. I'm late, take a little, 63,000 pesos, 4 hours. You take I'll be taking the 11 o'clock tonight. Take a little no dose. I'm going to wake up 10 minutes later.
The red eye.
And I'm there. No ride to the airport, right to Chinchina. So it's perfect. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay. Thank you so much. And I look forward to meeting you. All of us are going to be here in the afternoon after lunch, and we can sit one-on-one. I think Shane and I are going to be out here mostly, since we speak more generalities, not private information. And I think Thomas and Donnie are going to be in private rooms, and you guys can secure time to speak to them. But I think Shane and I will be hanging out here, available to you. Okay? All right. Thanks. And the microphone.
Alrighty, guys. Does anybody need to stand up and stretch or anything like that? You guys, everybody's okay? Yeah. Let me just review real quickly. Yeah, go ahead. Stand up and stretch. If you need to stretch, it's been an hour and a half now, so we got 1/2 hour left, and we got food coming, and are we good? Just wanted to repasar. I don't know how to say it in English. I'm sorry. I told you. Review.
Just the language.
Glenn and I are both the learning sites for all of these programs. We work with Westminster University. Westminster University is the certifying agency. Westminster is linked to the Veterans Administration. That's where that connection comes. So any of those benefits with the VA, with the GI Bill, VRNE, and any other thing that I'm not versed in, but Donnie is, that's how that path goes. From the VA to Westminster, from Westminster to our campuses. Just in case that was not completely clear. I know there's been a lot of information today so far. The programs do not have to go through Westminster. They can go, and this is more Donnie's area, which you can talk with him in the breakouts in the afternoon. They can go through other paths, but if they go through Westminster, there is university credit, transferable credit, if you are working towards degrees or those avenues. So both Donnie and Thomas are going to be upstairs at 1 o'clock after lunch. You can go in. You're going to sign up on their sheet, and you can go in one-on-one, have a little bit of conversation. It's not going to be a 20-minute conversation because we got a few people to go through. If your conversation is going to end up going a little bit longer, they're going to take your information down either way. We're going to take your information down, and they will be in contact in the subsequent weeks as we help each of you. People online, I know you're not going to be able to hear for the breakout sessions, but you can write to us. All of the information on your screen, and we will get in contact with you. Encourage you to join the WhatsApp group for the veterans. Ask us a question, and we will get back with you with the correct person, so that everybody is taken care of. It may not have all of your answers answered today due to time constraints, but we're going to be here from 1 until 5. So that's quite a bit of time that we can answer your questions. So yeah, let me get that out of the way. I'm here on behalf of OLSA. OLSA stands for Official Language School of the Americas, OLSA. See it right there. We are the academic portion of this this group, I guess, this group of folks. I guess I will tell you a little bit about me so you can kind of understand where I'm coming from. I am, I guess, I don't know if that's an apology or what. I taught math for 20 years, so my mind is a concrete mind. I'm not a flowery, tell a story kind of person. I'm very direct with the facts. Whenever I took English class back in high school, I would always get, write a one-page report about this. And I said, well, I can do it in 10 sentences or 5 sentences. Why do I need to flower up all the language? So I'm a concrete thinker, which puts me at a disadvantage when it comes to language. I don't have an aptitude for language. Yes, I have a language school, but I don't have an aptitude for the language. We hire professionals to take care of the language teaching. I'm the business. I am the take care of, I'm all the numbers. I work with the accountants. I work with the lawyers. I work with the certifying agencies. And it is difficult for me to learn language. I just let you guys know, a lot of people have been here in Colombia, or they've been, we got people looking at from Panama and other South American countries, been here for years, or been in your country for years. It's so hard to pick up the language. I completely, 100% sympathize with you. I am not a language person. I am a math person, concrete thinker. Language, typically people that like to read or like to are more social, typically pick up language faster. I don't like to read, and I'm antisocial, so very sorry. it puts me in a different category where it's difficult to I don't have an aptitude for language. So as I go through my little presentation here, I understand 20 years teaching math, 20 years teaching numbers, and we'll just kind of leave it at that. So I got into teaching, like I said, 20 years ago. I was 20 years in education back in the United States. Started off as a teacher, became a teacher coach. I coached boys and girls volleyball and basketball. Ended up working at a private school and became the chair for the math department for all 5 schools, where we did curriculum mapping all the way from basic math all the way through calculus. Continued on, and I became a vice principal at a different school, and by that time I was just really burned out. In education, everybody thinks it's real glamorous. I know you get summers off and you get 2 weeks for this and a week off for that. And as the coach and the vice principal and everything else that I did, you never have a break. You're always recruiting or doing camps or doing whatever it is to keep the kids entertained, out of trouble, off the streets, that kind of thing. So I had worked 20 years straight with no vacation, and I was really burned out, health problems. And so I decided, I'm done. I'm going to sell everything I own, and I'll go teach on an island somewhere. I don't care. I don't care if they have internet. I'm seriously done. So I sold everything. When I went to sell my house, I realized my house had doubled in value. It was a cheap house, so it wasn't a lot of money, but it did double in value. So I realized, I don't really have to go teach. I can go to Central and South America, where it's a bit cheaper to live, and I can work on my math website. I have a math website, or I had. I left it by now. But the site was grossing me about $1,000 a year. I needed to take a couple of years and develop it so it was making me $1,000 a month, and I could, we can subsist down here in Central and South America with about $1,000 a month, because it's fairly cheap to live down here. So I went ahead and left the United States, came down here to Colombia. I had been to other countries. I have traveled in the past, but I'd never been to Colombia. So I came out here to Medellin, looking to be here for 3 months, and then moved to Ecuador and then to Peru, and do a little rotation for a couple of years. But I got here. I mean, you guys know the story. I got here, and that's Colombia's motto now. The only danger is you're going to want to stay. Hit me, Glenn too. Ended up deciding, okay, I'm going to stay. I'm not. Why would I go anywhere? The climate's nice. The people are nice. The mosquitoes aren't too bad. I was looking at living on the coast, and I was like, I don't want to battle the mosquitoes. So what do? I can get married. I could work for somebody else. I don't have enough money to retire. I don't have any of those things. So what do? Well, I've got those 20 years of experience as a education in the United States. I got a little bit of money, had about $50,000, $60,000 for my house sale. Let's put together a school. This was 10 years ago now. So I did a year's study. what does everybody do? What are the teaching programs here in Columbia? And it's really the same thing everywhere. It's called standards-based learning. You teach the theory to a test, take the test. Okay, forget that. Let's go on the theory to the next test. And that's how most schools progress, because they can't test if you understand the material. They can test if you can regurgitate the facts on your test. And that's what the state needs to prove that you've learned whatever it is that they want you to, that they're teaching you. So I decided that we would go a little bit of a different route. We want to actually teach people to speak Spanish. The grammar and the proper Spanish is a secondary thing. The primary focus is, can I, while I'm living in this country, while I'm doing business, while I'm doing whatever it is I'm doing, can I communicate with my lawyer, with my accountant? Can I communicate with my customers? And if my Spanish isn't perfectly correct, and really, how many of us speak English correctly? But if my Spanish isn't perfectly correct, that's secondary to, can I get my point across? Can I make sales? Can I do what's necessary to survive, whether it's a business, like I said, or if it's a spouse, or if it's whatever it is, if you're just traveling. So that's our primary focus here at this school, is conversational Spanish. We also do conversational English. Subsequently, we became certified. We're certified by the Secretary of Education of Medellin. We're one of only 2 schools here in Medellin that are actually certified by the Secretary. All of the other schools, they're really basically they're tourist agencies that are giving Spanish classes. They are not backed by the Secretary of Education. This is where you get all those programs. Oh, learn Spanish in 3 weeks. Talk like a native in 3 weeks. We all know that's not true. They say that because they're not being regulated by the state. But we are certified by the Secretary of Education. We are also certified by an international certification agency as a quality school. That agency is called Bureau Veritas. You can look both those up online. We opened up 9 years ago next week. So next week we're going to be celebrating our 9-year anniversary. During the course of that time, we have become, on Google reviews, we've become the #1 school, not just in Medellin, but the entire country. Last year, we were recognized by Lux Life magazine as the top Spanish-English school in all of Colombia. So it's kind of a big honor to be leading in that respect. And as the other fellows have been talking, we have been working very hard. I don't know, Glenn, it's been before I knew you, I wanted to do this program. But the past 3-4 years at least that we've known each other, we have been looking for a way to include the veterans through your benefits, so that you can, if you're gonna move down here, or whether it's Colombia or Panama or Mexico, you gotta speak Spanish if you're going to integrate into society. How can we help that population do that? So we have really been working hard. It hasn't been just 1 year. It's been the past year that it's actually come to fruition. The Spanish that we do here, it's based on the U.S. quarter system. So it's 4 quarters plus a summer session. So it completely aligns with Westminster's program. So if you're looking to do two sessions, it's going to be 5 months. They're 9-week sessions, which is just like the U.S. system. It's 9 weeks, then you have a week off. 9 weeks, you have another week off. Glenn was talking about the 1-week program over there. Our vision for the veterans is, once you get signed up, once you get your program all set up, you spend your first week in Chinchinau, and you go through the boot camp over there, where you're learning how to integrate into Colombian society. You're understanding that the U.S. government is giving you these benefits so that you can improve your life, learn the Spanish that you need to be able to subside down, or to exist down here. That it's not just I'm off base. I'm released. I'm in Colombia. Where's the alcohol? I can get up late. I can look for girls. I can go party. I can do whatever it is that a young man might want to do. But to realize that, hey, I'm being given an opportunity to get a quality education at the top school in Colombia. It's not just about the theory of Spanish. It's not just the grammar. It's I'm actually going to be able to speak Spanish when I get finished here. So going through Glenn's program, that 1 week boot camp, and then you come here and you do your 9 weeks. And then the week off after that, hopefully you would go back to Glenn's camp and you'd be a leader for the new people coming in. And that's kind of the vision that we've had for the veterans in this program. Let me see if I'm forgetting anything here. Right now we got about 30 30 English students and about 30 Spanish students. And we do a variety of programs. We have conversational classes. We have the certified classes, which include conversation. We have private classes, which are worldwide. They can be taken virtually. I guess I will talk with you guys about another program besides Spanish. Yes, sir.
Is this building the only location or the primary location?
Currently, this is the only location. We are looking, right now we're actually looking in Envigado for another campus, which will help serve people, because a lot of people are in Sabaneta. Sabaneta, Envigado is a great area to live. I lived in Envigado my first year and a half, or year and 3 months here. Love it. But this is more central. So I am looking right now. We have an offer in on a property over there. We're probably going to know this week what's going to happen with that. So in addition to Spanish, we also have another program. It's called the LEAF program. LEAF, like hoja, like a leaf from a tree. LEAF stands for LE, Language Education and Ambassador Fellowship, and it's on our website. You can see it. The idea behind that is that it will also qualify for a student visa. We're working on getting it certified through the Secretary of Education. A lot of folks come to me, a lot of veterans and a lot of non-veterans, civilians. I've fallen in love with Colombia. I want to stay here in Medellin. I need to get a visa. What programs are there available? Some people already speak Spanish very well, and it's like, well, I don't need to learn Spanish. I speak it. Is there anything else? So we're working on something called LEAF. What that's going to be is an ESL program, teaching people how to teach English. And hopefully that's going to feed into Glenn's program as well. But it's going to come away with a certificate from the Secretary of Education, going to come away with a TOEFL certification. It'll include student teaching here at the campus, so real students. So you're going to get 180 hours worth of actual class participation, leadership in the class. We're working right now. The past few weeks we've been really focusing on this event, but after this we're going to be working with Westminster to try to see what we can do. I can't tell you that it's going to be certified or not through Westminster, but it will be able to be certified through the Secretary of Education here. And it will qualify for a 6-month visa. So that's aside. I'm going to go ahead and end on this part. OLSA is a little bit of a unique school here in Colombia. We're the only school that's linked with Westminster, which is linked with the Veterans Administration. There are 2 other universities that do have links with universities in the United States, but there are no private schools. We're the only one in Colombia. We have a lot of amenities here at the school. We have the student lounge. You're going to see the student lounge as soon as we get done here. We're going to reorganize how it usually is. We've got the restaurant. We've got language exchanges on Wednesday nights. We've got language exchanges on Friday nights, which are free. Again, if you're coming to Colombia, you need, or whatever country you're going to, you need to have a social outlet where you are interacting with the locals, not always interacting with your folks. You need to interact with locals, you need to make friendships, and you need to practice your language. So we offer those language exchanges for free on Wednesdays and Friday evenings. In fact, tonight we have our big event for the year, or for the month, is Hawaiian night from 6 to 9 tonight. Y'all are welcome to show up and participate. It's fun. There's games, and there's going to be a dance lesson and all kinds of stuff tonight. Apart from the Spanish and apart from the LEAF program, we're the only school, at least here in Medellin, that has a licensed foundation. Our foundation is called the OLSA Foundation. At this moment, it is focused, the social reason, or the razón social, the focus of the foundation. I can't think of what it would be called in English. The mission. Who said that? Thank you. The mission of that foundation right now is to provide English camps and scholarships for Colombians in lower estratos. So estrato 1 and 2, to help them with their English. We realize that just because you're poor doesn't mean you're not smart. And a lot of times when you come from a more humble backgrounds, you fight harder for what you want. So we want to look around for those folks that really want to improve their lives, get out of poverty, teach them English, get them to a point where they can actually get become fluent and get a job and do those kind of things, improve their family life. As you guys know, people live here kind of in family groups. So you got great-grandparents, grandparents, parents, kids, they all live in kind of like one house. If we can get those kids speaking English and they get a higher paying job, well, maybe we can get them out of Estrato 1 and Estrato 2 and into a better living condition for their whole family. I mentioned the foundation, a couple of reasons. We are currently modifying the mission, whoever said that, the social reason, to include veterans. There's a lot of folks out there in the United States that want to help veterans. So there's a lot of big companies that are looking to make donations specifically for veterans. So we are modifying the mission of the foundation. We're in that process right now to include financial aid for veterans and their immediate families. It's not done yet. Just letting you know, it's going to take some time. We have to make that amendment or that correction here in Colombia, and we also have a 501c3 in the United States. So any donating person from the United States donates to our 501c3 in the U.S., and they get a tax credit for that donation. If you were to donate directly to the foundation here, you wouldn't get anything, because if you're a Colombian company, you only get 25% back. I don't know if you guys know that. But United States, up to your threshold, if you itemize your taxes, you can get the donation back. You got something?
No.
Okay.
Scratching my head, sorry.
So we would like to. I know it's a big world out there, but it's also a small world. A lot of us, especially you guys in the as veterans, you guys know big corporations. And specifically veteran-focused organizations. If they're looking for a place to donate and start things here in Colombia, we have a lot of things that we're talking about. I don't want to go into all those details because I don't want to promise something that we're not going to deliver on. We have a lot of things that we're talking about that we would like to do for the veteran community down here. It is a growing community. We want to make sure that you guys get your education in Spanish. Make sure there's a certified education, and if you need the credits, go through Westminster. Gosh, I'm going to want to say stuff, but I can't. We want to make sure that you guys are taken care of. Some of you guys know Monica. Monica? A lot of you guys know Monica. She was involved with veterans in the past. She is from Colombia. She served in the U.S. Navy. She was involved in the clinics. In medical field here, we'd like to work with her as well in the plans that we have, the veteran plans that we have coming up. But all of that stuff takes money. Our goal for the foundation, for the OLSA Foundation, it seems like a lot of money, but it's out there. We want to gross $4 million that we will not touch. It'll go into an account, an interest-bearing account. We will not touch it. And the interest from that account monthly will take care of all of the foundation needs. It's such a big growing community down here of veterans. A lot of people, and I know there's some people in Panama right now watching. We want to take care of as many people as we can, whether it's financial aid or it's medical or it's whatever it is. But like I said, it takes money to do that, or education even. It takes money to do that. So if we can kind of focus on that, if you know folks that have deep pockets, it's tax deductible if it's coming from the United States. And we'd really like to grow that foundation so that we can start applying that towards the lower end communities and to also to the veterans. Just on a clear note, the letter in the foundation will be for veterans of both countries, but specifically also for veterans of the United States. So it is also available for veterans of this country as well to learn English and improve their lives. Okay, yes, sir.
Just piggyback off of something that you just said.
Let's go. I'm gonna have to repeat it. So.
Okay. So what you said earlier is correct. Like, I've only been out here for a year, but one of my mission goals is to not only get back to the Colombian economy, but to Colombian people. Like, I did hire me a Colombian, I have a personal assistant. And the reason why I'm bringing it up is that I would like to create a better living wage for local Colombian people here. And then two, when you're speaking about as far as sponsorships, donations, things like that that's attached to be it any veteran business or organization or nonprofit, people do throw money at that based off of whatever that for-profit or non-profit organization is that you're trying to establish, even over abroad, because you can pull money from the United States, especially for a non-profit, which put donors at a different tax bracket if it's veteran or disabled veteran related. So you were actually, I'm glad that I came because you're actually speaking my same language.
Yeah.
This is what so there is money out there. There is money out
there. There is, and a lot of people want to help the veterans.
Yes.
And
going towards a better cause when it comes to improving not just your life and your family's life as a veteran, but just people in general. Period.
Yeah, and our foundation is working on both. Whenever there's a donation, it doesn't just go to one thing or the other. We are helping the entire community here because we're able to scholarship people in for the English programs. The LEAF program, we're able to scholarship a lot of people in there so that the teachers that are learning how to teach ESL have those students to work with. And you brought up a good point. And I actually, if you can, I'd like to talk with you about your employing other people because you can run into some problems here. I want to make sure that you're not getting yourself in trouble because there's labor laws. Okay, I just want to make sure because Americans are very, very generous and we want to help people, but we end up looking to help people and we don't understand the laws here in this country and we can get ourselves in trouble by not doing things correctly. So if you are one of those people that are employing people, chat with me at 1 o'clock. I'll be down in this area with Glenn. Chat with me, and I'm happy to tell you my experience over the past 10 years. And you also brought up about paying higher than minimum wage. That's one of the things you're going to see on our website. One of the points of difference with us.
To a better living wage.
Yeah. Most schools and most businesses, they'll do whatever they can to get the lowest possible salary for everybody. Here at Olsa, we don't pay the lowest salary. We pay above minimum wage for everybody. It does put us a little bit higher cost than some of the schools. A lot of the schools are still higher than us as far as cost, but we don't. We take care of our folks, which is why. This is Jenny right here. On camera you can't see her, but she's been with us for 7 years. Luisa, 5 years. Cinco años, Luisa. 5 years for Luisa. Sarah is around here. She's been for 5 years or so. Because we take care of our family here, they stick around. We don't just do what's the minimum that I can do for them. We do a lot of stuff for them. So it makes for a better environment for them, for you, a better learning environment, higher quality all the way around. Yes, sir.
I was told the GI was only good for like a degree.
So I'm gonna give you a brief understanding of that, but I'm gonna have you talk directly with the fellows about that. My understanding, and again, talk with Donnie and talk with Thomas. The GI Bill has to be used for a degreed program, which Westminster offers. So as part of a degree that you're pursuing, you can take Spanish courses with us, and then it qualifies through the GI Bill. But I'm going to have you speak directly with them because my understanding, my knowledge is all about education and they're the ones that deal with the Veterans Administration. I don't want to give bad information. Does that make sense? Okay. Another question? I thought I saw somebody. Okay. Couple of things before we wrap up here. If you haven't got onto the WhatsApp page, I encourage you to do so. I encourage you to share that with veterans. This is not an open WhatsApp chat. We're not looking to build like a big old base of, nobody except for the veteran community. We're going to be there. All of us are going to be monitoring that chat. So if you have a question, you can present that question in that page. Please don't put personal information, like protected information. Just say, hey, this is so-and-so. I'd like to find out about whatever the question is. And one of us will respond to you, and we'll respond to you in a private page.
How do you get into that chat?
The code is right there.
Pass that around.
But again, share this with the veterans because we got a lot of information. We're going to be trying to do this conference once a quarter so that we can continue to inform the veteran community. But if you guys can share that, if you guys can talk to the people that you know that might be interested in donating for the foundation, we're looking to really crank things up here in Medellin as a veteran base outside of the United States. Right now, Panama is pretty big. A lot of veterans because the base that used to be out there. A lot of veterans out there. We want to make sure that we take care of the veterans that are actually here in this city and in this country. We're going to break right now. We got 2 hot dogs, a soda, and a bag of chips for all of the veterans here. Relax for a few minutes. At 1 o'clock, Glenn and I are going to be down here. Thomas and Donnie are going to be upstairs, and there'll be people to help you upstairs to show you where they are. You can sign up on their list. You can talk to them individually. Again, recognize. You want to say something too?
Where are those lists?
It's on the door. They're going to be directed. Yeah.
If they want a tour of your facility.
Yeah, there'll be somebody to take you around. But the big thing, Glenn and I are going to be down here, and the other 2 are going to be upstairs. Remember that it's not going to be a 20-minute conversation. You're welcome to ask what you want, but they're probably going to get your information, write some notes about you, and we're going to get back with you so that we can cover everybody. Is anybody new here to Medellin? Just brand new. At 4 o'clock, we're going to have a workshop. It's called Introduction to Medellin Workshop. It's free. The other people might be joining us as well. All y'all are welcome to come. We talk about being safe in Colombia, things to see, things to do, things not to do, places not to go, things to be aware of. And then at 6 o'clock tonight, we have the free language exchange. It's a great opportunity to meet some Colombians. It's Hawaiian night. So if you guys feel like having a little bit of fun, it goes until 9 o'clock. Thomas, do you have anything? Do you have any final things to say before we sign off?
No, I'm good. Yeah, as soon as I can get to the bathroom, I'm good.
Donnie, do you have any final things?
Yeah, a couple questions that came out on the side about voc rehab and this next. So there are 5 pathways. A couple questions that came out about voc rehab and side conversations. So remember, there are 5 pathways. 4 of them require an occupational objective. So you pick your job and you work backwards, and the educational certification and other needs have to fall in line to make you marketable and employable at entry level in that occupation. The other one option is independent living. So you need the resources and or training to be able to live independently and coexist with your disabilities. So he's like, how does this work out? Like, it has to work job first and then backwards, or independent living and then backwards.
Glenn, you got anything?
No, I encourage everybody, at least everyone, make sure you shake Donnie's hand, and Thomas. It's super key. I hope everybody doesn't know.
All right. Lastly, Monica has volunteered to stay with us after 1 o'clock. She's going to be down here with Glenn and I. If you have any medical issues that you want to chat with her about, she's been here working in the medical field for quite a while. So.
And she's leading the Hawaiian dance.
Okay. Really appreciate you coming out. Again, we'll be looking for your questions in the chat. Have a great lunch. Relax. You're not rushed. You don't got to do the military. You got time. All right. The tables are going to be out here, so please occupy the tables. We're going to redecorate this room, and we'll be here to help you guys out. Thank you guys so much.
Awesome. Super cool.
¿Puedo echar esta para pendiente la arroz.
Muchísimas gracias.
Yeah. I'll stay in touch. Are we done with both?
I thought they said she won't be I'm not going to. I let you go right there. I'm going to be here until midnight.